Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a comic review for you, and we are doing one that Brittany has liked for quite a while, and so I jumped on the train, and today we are reviewing Saga.
This is written by Brian K. Vaughan and illustrated by Fiona Staples. It is a sci-fi fantasy comic series that is actually pretty popular from what I've seen around the comic book verse, and there are currently, I believe, 8 volumes. This is volume 1.
So the whole premise behind this book is essentially on this planet out in the middle of nowhere and their moon, they get into a war together, but instead of having a war on their own two planets, they essentially start outsourcing the war. So now you have a galaxy-wide war between these two factions and everyone splits down the middle, and so all the wars take place on different planets. So already you end up having tons of different creatures and aliens and all types.
Well, the war is really the backdrop for the story. It's not the actual story. The story is a romance between these two characters. She is from the planet, he is from the moon. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay. So, they're kind of star-crossed lovers, literally. And so they end up having a baby together, as the cover suggests, and shenanigans happen.
And that's about as far as you get in the first volume. I don't think we want to spoil anything.
We're keeping
that
this
happens.
very spoiler-free. Don't worry.
So that's just the synopsis, but you don't get too far in the first novel. It's enough to kind of set up the universe and let you know what's happening.
So, as a comic book aficionado, how do you feel about this? Because you said it was a little bit different from the typical comic books you've read. Format-wise, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I felt like they threw a lot at you in this first volume, but I also felt like at the same time they left so much unexplained. So you really don't understand a whole lot about this world so far, except there's a lot of weird alien-type people and there's a lot of different factions and different people happening. People keep popping up and doing magic and other stuff, so it's pretty crazy so far. I think compared to the more established two big universes being DC and Marvel, it doesn't really take its time to set up the universe, which I think sometimes, like I said, in those early volumes of a Marvel run, it's almost like they explain too much, they spend too much time, and it can get boring.
I personally really liked the way that you're just kind of thrown into it. That's kind of how I prefer my fantasies in general. I like to be thrown into the world and just things are explained as you go instead of a big info dump at the beginning. And I think this book does that really well. It has explanations along the way. This does have a narrator along the way, which helps a lot. So you have the scenes happening and the narrator giving context, which helps.
Yeah, overall, I felt like it really set the stage for something interesting. I don't think we've yet seen what the true plot of this series is and where it will go, because clearly everyone's talking about the kid between them, that big things are going to happen. So I think it's a good entry to hop in and to see where it goes.
One of the main reasons I love this story, besides the actual story, is the artwork. It is just absolutely stunning. I'm not going to really flip through for you guys because I feel like that could land on some spoilers very easily. But, the art style is gorgeous. There's just so many pretty colors. I mean, I'll flip through a little bit. But nothing that lands on anything crazy. But, it's so pretty. I think we talked about this in our haul where we hauled this one. And the characters are so different and distinguished between the different species, which is really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I do feel like the art design is a little reminiscent of the Runaways, if you've seen their covers and stuff. But it's a little more realistic. Typically, this art style is not my thing.
Oh, really? I like it a lot.
Just because sometimes I feel like the pencil lines and stuff, or the pen lines, is a little rough. So, some of the edges and line work is a little, rougher.
Steven has much more experience with art than I do. He has done art in the past. I have not, so that's where this is coming from. I don't notice these things because I don't have a background in that.
Yeah, I mean, but it still looks all clean. I just think it's clearly a decision with the style to have it be a little more rough because it just makes the characters look a little more rough.
I think I kind of like that more
yeah.
than a structured style. But again, I'm not as familiar with comics, so I think I need to read a little bit more to really determine if that's because I like the style or if I just like this specific version of that.
What's interesting to me is it's not every panel, though, so some panels are like so cleanly drawn, and then some are rougher. So as you go throughout, I'm like,
well, I think
that
some of
throws me
it
off.
differs between like the setting, like the scene, and the characters that are in it, like what world you're
That's
on,
true.
that kind of thing. I think it differs with that.
I think it's undeniably beautiful. It's not always my thing that I like to look at when I'm reading comics, but that's just my opinion. Overall, this book is a pretty quick read, and it's really easy to get through because it's so enjoyable and interesting. And I think we really both enjoyed reading this one. Brittany's and I read it twice.
Yeah, I read it once in September, and then I just reread it last week. And on a second read, it's definitely just as good as the first time, if not better, because I actually caught a lot more than I did the first time. Kind of, you get caught up in the story and you kind of flip through really quickly, and the second time I paid more attention to what's in the background and what's going on. And also, I had just forgotten a lot of it happened, because like Steven said, they pack a lot into this first volume.
I think we're both excited to see where the story goes. I know I am, and I want to read the following ones. Luckily, we haven't read them yet, but we do have them.
Several of them. There are 8 total.
Few.
We have 1 through 5, and I love that each book has like a different color, like as the main. I dig this art style like a lot, so I'm excited to get into these.
The cover work truly is really good.
It's beautiful.
So
that's it for this review. This is our first comic book review. We've done a grouping of comic book reviews, but that's been single issues, not full volumes. So if you liked this and are interested in us doing more volume or single issue reviews, please let us know in the comments or give us a thumbs up. That lets us know that you want more of these. And as always, subscribe if you like our content. We would love to have another face in the crowd and someone to talk to. That's why we made this channel, is to talk to you guys about things that we're really passionate about, which includes comics. We do have a lot of other types of videos on this channel, including movie reviews, video game content, book content as well. There's a lot. So if you want to go check out any of it, you can check it out over there. And as always, we will see you in our next video. Bye.